This is Tim with Death by Metal MMB, and I'm talking to
Paul Wandtke from Dead Original.
Awesome, definitely. Well, basically, the first question I've got, how's, as far as like touring and setting up tours and the albums and so forth, is that something like a joint collective or is something individually done through each band member?
It's individually done. Actually, well, I'm talking to our manager about all that. We just got tour dates with Candlebox
Right.
in November. It's just me and our manager talking back and forth.
Okay.
The other guys like to party, you know. No, I'm just kidding.
As far as like album covers and creating the music, so it's basically just one person that controls all that, or is it something as a joint collective? You know, ideas and things flowing throughout the band.
Well, right now, this is the first album. It was really, I did most of it. I'm hoping by album 2, I finally found, I went through a lot of bass players. I think I finally found the right lineup, thinking it would be more cohesive. But right now, I did the producing and the recording. I just had the professional mixes done, and did the artwork and stuff.
How long did it take to create the album?
About a year.
And was there anything is that a norm when you create an album? Do you need that much time, or?
Honestly, man, this is the first time I'm getting into this because I used to just be a work for hire drummer for tours, you know.
So how was it being like a hired gun? Was that good, or did you like it, or?
Yeah, I liked it. Well, actually, I've been to over 40 countries. It was cool, man. Always be put up. I got a salary every time I go on tour. The biggest ones I did was Trivium and Rock of Ages, and also played drums for Kill Hannah when they toured with the Smashing Pumpkins. So, just, always staying busy, but like, past couple of years, I was like, do I want to keep, because I feel like I can always work for somebody, and if someone that's worth it calls to do something, I would do it, but like right now, I'm like, just really motivated to like, start my own band, and
right.
So far it's been working,
Right.
So.
Is it hard to be a drummer for different bands, like remembering everything, and how's that process go? Is it just because you remember stuff, or is it you have to write stuff down, or how does that work?
What do you mean with like rehearsals?
Yeah. Like if you're with one band and you've got so many songs, and then all of a sudden the next year you're with another band, and you have to kind of maybe relearn stuff again. How's the transition? Is it hard, or is it?
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I want to. It's just scatterbrain, man. Jumping from project to project.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you have an identity, and it's kind of like it is what it is. You're just working for people. You don't really, like when I got into music, it was like bands like Pantera and Led Zeppelin, bands were like bands, like
right.
You knew the drummer, you knew the bass player, you knew the singer, like they're a cohesive band. It wasn't like
right. How did you guys come up with the name for the band?
That original, well, because dude, I keep seeing bands that are called Dead something, Dead this, Dead that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, call it Dead Original, man.
Well, that's pretty simple.
So.
And as far as like, do you guys have when does your first tour start?
November with the Candlebox.
And where does that go? Where does that end?
It's all Midwest states. So like Iowa, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, so stuff like that.
That'd be kind of well. It's in the winter time, so it just depends. It doesn't. You know what? Nowadays, November and December, for some reason, it doesn't really snow a lot in the Midwest. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's pretty peaceful. It seems like it doesn't really start snowing until like January and
Like
February.
January, February, March. You gotta
It's
stay
lights out.
away.
It's lights out. November, December, you just have to deal with the bitter cold. That's the only thing
Yeah.
that kind of like it, or breaking down or some stupid shit that happens. I've so many bands come into St. Louis, and I remember, they're smaller bands, but they're like their van doesn't work or whatever, and it's dead of winter, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's just like it's cold, but I don't know. As far as like having your own band and building it, what's that process like? Is it like you've talked about it a little bit, like hiring so many bass players and going through so many people? Is it a struggle, or is it something that's really kind of cool and you like dealing with?
Well, we've only gone through 2 bass players. It's been really cool.
Right.
I feel like it's been actually kind of easy for me to find band members. I don't post anything online. It's been like word of mouth.
Right, right. Oh yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure you
that
probably
way,
know a lot of people. So
that way, like you can get a bunch of people from Craigslist and it's all weird.
oh yeah, that's do that. Yeah, definitely. What's the name of your album? Can you say all that or?
Cutting in and out because can you say that again? I'm sorry.
What's the name of your album?
It's Bought and Sold. It's kind of, to me, the album's about like love, souls, and kind of being a work for hire, being bought and sold, kind of
Yeah,
pretty much what every rock person writes about.
Right. What was some of your major influences growing up to get you into music and so forth?
All the top 5 bands would be like Nirvana, Pantera, Motley Crue. I'm not even joking right now. And then Tool. I love Tool. And after that, I started experimental, getting to like weird drummers and shit.
Right.
But yeah, those are like the top 4 bands.
What'd you think
Obviously,
of the new?
Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
What'd you think of the new Tool album?
I haven't really had time to soak it in. So I don't. I would say this because I'm older now. I feel like I'm not starstruck like when I first heard their stuff.
Yeah.
But I think maybe I don't. I mean, I don't like something right away. It's got to grow on me. So I think I just need to keep jamming it in my car, and I'll probably get it.
Yeah, I think
So.
that. I mean, I listened to it, and I listened to it maybe 3 times, and I've got my own opinion about it, and I don't know. It's something to take in a little bit. Like you said, you got to take that in a couple times. You just can't absorb it in one day and be like, oh, I'm going to make a decision. But
Yeah.
it's to me, it's. I think they could have done better, but it's just for taking so much time and whatever. But I don't really know how to take that band. I love Tool. I absolutely love lyrically what they've done musically. They're really creative, but sometimes Maynard scares me where he says like, oh, this is a money grab. I'm just doing it for money for my for my wine company, and then he makes an album. I'm like, why'd you do that? Why'd you say that? But what's some of the highlights when you have toured with these other bands? What was one of your biggest highlights?
I think playing all the major festivals, it's really inspired me to like I see the lights, as starting my own band. Like, man, we could do this if we bust our ass,
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it hard to? How hard is it to create your own band? Obviously, you've got connections. You've been around the world. You played with some of the biggest bands on the planet. You obviously do have connections, but how hard is it for a band to start from ground zero and to work all the way up? Is it easier that you know people, or is it no different and it's really hard?
Well, I can't. I don't really think I could fully answer that because I feel like I think without doing what I've done, it would be way harder. But I'm not in that position where I could just call a festival like Louder Than Life, like, hey man, put me on the main stage. Like that's not gonna happen. But I think if I put my band on tour, and we keep getting, I think it's definitely easier to get on support slots for big nationals, you know. And I think if I keep doing that, eventually we'll get to some festivals, you know.
Yeah. How do you feel about buy-ons and things like that with bands? Do you agree with doing all that, or do you not agree with doing that?
I don't agree with it, but if I was the artist, I would agree with charging a band that I don't like and feel is not good.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of that's the answer that I get from a lot of artists is that they don't agree with it, and these are even big artists that do buy-ons. But they said at the same time, you know, it's giving an opportunity to a band, and instead of just giving it to them for free because they've worked so hard to get to that point, they're like, well, we're going to charge you to do it. I don't agree with some of the money, how much they charge. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of a big, I don't know if I should say their name, but I've heard of a big band that charged 30 grand for like a month.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I do. I do booking. We do a lot of booking, and we work with a lot of big booking agents and a lot of buy-ons, and they present it, and it's from 10. The biggest one was 55,000, and I was just like, you've got to be. There's no way in God's name I would ever do that. And I've heard one from 10,000, and again, I would never fucking do that either. I've played in a band. We've opened for Megadeth and things like that. I've done a little bit of touring, and we did do a buy-on back in the day. We did it for 3 shows with a headliner, and we absolutely failed at it because we didn't even know what the hell we were doing. We didn't have enough merch and whatever. We were younger.
Yeah.
We were dumb, and we thought, oh, we're going to get big by doing that. We didn't get big at all. So they took the money and ran.
Well, I think you really got to have all that money to take that risk, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, you know.
Yeah, I think it's a good deal if you split the money up with a band, and I think it's a good deal. It depends on how many dates. If you do enough dates, it depends on where you're going, how big the venues are, how big the band is. Obviously, you don't want to do a small band and do small clubs, and they're only bringing in 15 people a night, and you just spent $35,000 to do this. That's ridiculous, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're doing a 700 cap to 500 cap a night, and you're actually pulling in that kind of numbers, that's probably the way to go. As long as you don't have to give up your merch money, I think it's a positive win-win.
Yeah, totally.
So, but you know, like I said before, I mean, with you, obviously, again, you've played with some of the biggest bands on the planet, and touring like that is it kind of weird being on the other end of like, hey, now I got to buy merch, and I got to, you know, obviously with Trivium, I don't think you bought merch and shit like that, but
I didn't have to do anything. I felt like it sucked. It was stressful. I couldn't sleep at night the first fucking year, you know? It's like everything was handed to me, you know? And then, but, you know, I really believe in the music that I'm doing, and I'm getting a positive response, so I'm really excited, dude, because I own the trademark, you know?
Yep.
I know, like, Trivium, they're owned by Wandtke. Please, I hope is this an audio interview?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. But, yeah, dude, I'm really excited, man, you know? It's been a lot of hard work, sleepless nights, but I'm hustling, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said before, it's something that it's always curious to me because, like I said, we've interviewed the biggest bands. We've interviewed King Diamond. We've interviewed, I mean, big bands. And we've interviewed small bands, and it's always this, you know, it's always different, and it's always kind of curious to hear their response as far as like starting out and the growing pains of doing what they got to do to make the band successful nowadays, you know. So the story is like, you know, we hear all sorts of stuff and we talk all about whatever, so it's not a big deal. But other than that, where can everyone find your music and find your Facebook and find all your stuff?
So yeah, they can get a physical CD from deadoriginal.com, and we're releasing the album digitally via In-Grooves in November, but they can buy a physical now. And dates are obviously there, and just any social media is at deadoriginal. They can find us on the web.
Awesome, definitely. Well, I wish you the best of luck. I wish you guys would hopefully you stop by St. Louis. I don't know what the tour dates are. I don't know if they're out yet or not. But hopefully you come through St. Louis, Missouri, and hopefully we'll be able to do press and things like that for you guys, and try to help you push the name, and we'll get that thing handed out and get it taken care of. But other than that, wish you luck, and I'll talk to you soon.
Dude, thanks for having me on, man.
Not a problem. If you hold on the line 1 second, but yeah, thank you for talking to me.
All right, thank you, man.